Bengazilo didn't yes. We're gonna get it right. The song says, every day is a woman's day. Every day is a woman's day. And we will always love you, always. Always. Still, I was a screamer. Every day is a woman's day, and we appreciate you. Every day is a woman's day, and we will always love you. That was so dizzy, take us to the bridge. Every day is a woman's day. Always love you. Chorus coming. Didn't they go turn up? Every day is a woman's day. Every women's mouth, every women's smile. Thanks to every host on the African Portal Radio TV International. Every day is Women's Day, and that is why we are celebrating the Women's in Style on the African Portal Radio TV. Siabunga Kakulu to everyone that is joining in this broadcast this hour. I really appreciate every one of you, and I appreciate you joining us on this broadcast this morning. It's going to be another beautiful Monday morning. Last week Monday, Women's Day in South Africa, but today, because the song we come in say that every day is a Women's Day, so we're going to be having one of our very own in the studio, Rebecca Sibiya is with me in the studio that will be celebrating this morning. Yourself, your line is mute. Can you unmute yourself so that we can be able to hear you out in the studio? I'm on the African Portal Radio TV International. It's going to be a beautiful and lovely morning on the African Portal Radio TV International. As we'll be dishing out few songs to make your Monday be beautiful and make you having a beautiful week ahead of you. We're starting the new week in a very, very lovely and beautiful pink day with one of our very own Rebecca Sibiya in the studio with me that will be having this conversation together this morning. And everyone joining us, I just want to say to all the ladies, all the women all over the world, happy Women's Month to all the women around the world. And we celebrate every woman in style. Welcome to the African Portal Radio TV International. It's going to be another day of joy, of peace for every one of us. Sibiya, let me firstly allow you to welcome and greet everyone in the house that will be listening to this conversation this morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Lochane, Dumelang, Sanbonani. I am awesome today because I'm going to share what I have in my mind. And today I'm also thinking that, women in the whole world are always, trying to be caregivers, are always, trying to be mothers, are always trying to be women. But what does it mean to be a woman? So I'm looking forward to be sharing this message with you today. And as he said, I am Rebecca Sibiya, and I'm excited to be on this platform.
Indeed, indeed. I am so excited and I've been looking forward to this to have time such as this to put a great woman such as you on the spotlight to encourage us. What we'll be talking about this morning based on community and the society. What does it take to build a community? That is the first thing that I think we need to be looking to. A community is very, very important in the life of man. And whatever that we produce from the home determine what community will look like. And whatever the community look like determine what the society will look, and what society be will determine what the nation will be. So if we want to have a peaceful nation, it will start from the home, because if the home is not peaceful, there's no way the society will be, I mean, the community will be peaceful. And if the community is not peaceful, the society will not be peaceful, and the nation will not be peaceful. So that is why we want to engage you that to build a peaceful, a good, a lovely society, what is the role of a woman in building a good community? What is the role of a woman? That is what we'll be engaging on this morning. But before that, let me use this time to greet everyone all over the world. In South Africa, Dumela, Ashe, Moloi, in eastern part of Africa, Barisa, in northern part of Africa, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In all English speaking country, hello. In French speaking country, bonjour. And in Jerusalem, shalom to everyone. Bonjour to everyone. Jabo Africa. Welcome to the African Portal Radio TV International. I will be the moderator of this program. My name is Joshua Oludariolus, and it's going to be a lovely, beautiful morning on the African Portal Radio TV with Sibiya Rebecca with me in the studio. She's a scholar. Let me give you a background of who she is. She's one of the people that we believe so much in at the same time as well. She's one of the men that take bull by the horn. She have a good background when it comes to education. She have education here in South Africa, and she's doing so well for herself in encouraging community, in empowering community, and also use life so that she empowers. And that's why we are putting her on the spotlight on this program this hour. She will tell you more than I can do about herself and what she's doing in the community. Rebecca Sibiya, this is not my first time having you on this broadcast. Let me allow you to introduce yourself to the listeners at home. Who you are, where you are, and the position you hold in the society.
Good morning again in different parts of Africa and beyond, because nowadays we are, beyond our homes. So my name is Rebecca Sibiya, and I'm a director at Extraordinary Ripples. Extraordinary Ripples is an organization that helps young people as well as managers, from middle managers to executives, to lead themselves effectively. Extraordinary Ripples also, we facilitate engagement in communities whereby culture is the central part of what we are engaging in. And I'm also a director or a co-founder in an organization called Heartfelt Effects. Heartfelt Effects is an organization that helps people, especially during lockdown, to create memories for their families. So in Heartfelt Effects, we take small moments and we make them memorable, because during lockdown it's very difficult for people to cope, whether it's you wanting to do something special for the loved one, something special for the family, something special for the community that you have. Heartfelt Effects is the organization to look for. So if you want coaching in terms of leadership, Extraordinary Ripples is your organization. If you want HR consulting, Extraordinary Ripples is your organization. And I will be sharing with you how to build community, because nowadays as well, we don't build communities like we used to. I mean, I'm thinking of myself with my children. Do I want my neighbors to be engaged with my children or not? We are not engaging as we used to engage previously, but we are also on social media. Are we looking at the community that our children or ourselves are engaged in, and how are we engaging ourselves in the social media? Are we building, are we encouraging, or are we destroying? That is the question that you need to ask yourself. Thank you, Joshua.
Wow, wow. And I really, really appreciate you for that beautiful introduction. There's a saying in Africa that it takes a village to raise a child. And like you said, that seems not to be in the spotlight anymore, because it's now only me and my family. The village have nothing to do with my children, because I am the only children. So there's nothing concern me how I raise my kids and how my kids behave in the community. I can give you an instance of where we are coming from. If you messed up in the public, your parents don't need to come and fix you. The people, the elderly ones around there, we firstly deal with all your parents even around the scene. And that's how we are brought up. Our parents let us that, okay, the neighbor to you, parents. So whatever they told you is part of the lesson that you need to learn in life. Because as you are going through the journey of life, there will be lessons that you will be learning, not only what you learn under the roof here in the house, but at the same time, the people around us, the elderly one around us, also they have the capability and the capacity also to put you right where you're wrong. We have that at the back of our mind from home. And when elderly person address us or corrected us, or when we do something wrong, definitely we won't feel bad because the elderly person is correcting us. But we seem to see a different story of these, of these days, that even if the child is messing up in the community or in the society, the elderly one, they keep quiet and just be watching. Look at the what is going on in our community. You see, people seems to behave anyhow, and the elderly ones there, they have no right to put them in order. Could we say that if we continue like this, are we going to having a good result in the future? And what damage that is going to do to our future? Those are the things that I would like you to address as well. But let me leave the floor for you to do the justice to the topic that we have at.
Thank you, Joshua. I don't think that if you continue like we are continuing, we are building a better community. And you're so right. Previously, in terms of engagement in the community, children were raised by the village, not only the direct family. Because as a child, I mean, I remember people who contributed to my life, and I'm talking about coaching today. But if I'm thinking about coaching in the previous years, is that my teacher would coach me, the principal of the school will coach me, mme wa ka mo next door, the mother or the neighbor next door would be able to coach me in different ways. However, now because of trust, we are unable to allow our children to be coached or to be, advised by different people because we don't trust each other. And we don't trust each other. You can also see how we live. I mean, we live in, if I'm looking at my home, we live in homes that have big walls because we don't trust the person that is living next to us. But if you continue like this, then it means that our children will continue to do like they want to. But how do you also continue if you don't trust other people? I'm thinking that now, because times have changed, we also need to be relevant in terms of how we are building communities that are engaging or that are contributing to our children or to ourselves. In social media, for instance, as an adult, I would have communities that I'm engaging with, and some people will say, but those are not real friends. There are close communities whereby you will have real friends or you'll have people who really care about you. Yes, there are public groups as well, whereby you can learn, certain things in terms of building community. But for children that are under the age, they are not on social media. So as a parent, you need, or a guardian, or somebody who's taking care of, other children, because in Africa, our children are not only our blood children. And the children that you are taking care of, whether those are the children in the school, children in the church, or children in your community, you need to think about ways whereby you can, encourage them. Are you a mother, or are you a woman, or are you a sister, an aunt, or even a granny who, if you see that, the child is not doing something that is, are correct, are you able to actually correct that without feeling otherwise? I'm still that woman that would say, if I see somebody doing something that is not right, I would still say what I think is right. But I would say it in a way that I'm not actually destroying the child. I'll say it in a way that is, that has love. Because as much as we want to correct, certain things, but we also need to understand that our beliefs are different. So you might be correcting a child whereby the family has got different beliefs than your beliefs. But how you're supposed to be doing it is that you need to do it with love. And I cannot talk about women without thinking of love, because as women, we are caretakers in different ways. And if I'm saying caretakers, I'm not thinking about caretakers only in the kitchen. We have changed. We are caretakers in the boardroom. We are caretakers, yes, in the kitchen. We are caretakers in different platforms. And women are leaders. If you don't have women in your organization, if you don't have women in your communities who are saying Amandla, we are taking this forward, whether it's making sure that our kids are confident, whether it's making sure our kids understand the roles that they have to play in the communities, then we are failing ourselves as a community. Then
Okay,
we are failing ourselves as a
thank you, Rebecca.
community.
I like that, and I like the fact that you said that you are caretaker, but not caretaker only in the kitchen, but a caretaker also in the boardroom, caretaker also in the public place. Let's quickly look at to build a good society, which is the topic ahead of us. What is the role of a woman? What the woman needs to do when we are talking about building a community?
The community is not only for women. The community is for children, is for, men, is for everybody else. But women are at the central of, building a community, because I believe that women are stronger. Women are different, even in terms of leading themselves and in terms of leading others. Women are different. I mean, you can even see an example whereby in a home there's a woman. If a woman is not feeling okay, or yeah, if a woman is not feeling okay, the mood in the home changes. So we are also the thermostat of the family. We are the thermostat of the community. So as we build our
Hmm.
community as women, I think that the first thing is to assess where we are. And assessing where we are is assessing in terms of, the trust, assessing in terms of how we are living our lives, assessing in terms of how the community is living. And I'll give you an example whereby, we had, challenges in the communities of, KZN, where there was looting. I can tell you that women were the central leaders in terms of making sure that the communities came together. Communities came together not only in terms of making sure that there are necessities, but also making sure that, people are taken care of. People are deciding that, enough is enough. We cannot destroy what is ours, but we need to actually build what is better for ourselves, for our communities, and beyond.
Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned the issue of the lootings and the problem happened in some part of the country last month. But let's quickly look at it. If you look at some of the footage comes out of that looting, we saw a lot of women as well also involved in it and also play a very big role in looting some of the stores. Do you think that those women are not well talked to, or what could you say about that? I mean, for the footage that you are seeing on the social space, what can you say about that? Seeing women, carrying things from the shops and running in the front of the children into the house. I mean, what is your view to that?
Joshua, what I can say is that, mob psychology, they used to say mob psychology is dangerous. And yes, there were women, on the footage. And we cannot, look at that footage and not think of poverty. But also thinking of poverty, we cannot condone doing things that are not right. And having said that as well, if you are not in the situation, many a time it's difficult for you to actually judge other people, because
Mm,
we are only looking at the footage and judging the women that were carrying things, um, to their homes or to whoever that they were carrying, and we don't actually understand. I think, in my opinion, is that as a community, we cannot only blame women for what has actually happened, but we can actually ask women in those communities to actually build a better, society. Because remember that, our children are not only listening to what we are saying they should do, but our children are actually seeing what we are doing. And maybe the question is that, what we are doing, is it something that we would want our children to continue doing? I think for me, that is my question. And also, in terms of poverty as women, what are we doing in the different communities that we are involved in? And that, having said that, this is not only about, yes, we need the money. Yes, we need, the sponsorship, but also we need to be doing things in a smaller way. Things like, if you see a child that has been left by transport, for instance, going to school, are you the person that will be able to engage the family and take the child to the school if you can? Are you the woman that will be able to, to make some food for the children or for the communities that are underprivileged, for instance? Are we the community that will be able to go out there and clean, the community, if we see that the community is not clean enough? I mean, months, it's about, I think, 3 months back or so, I was involved with the community with the organization called Take Action. Take Action normally helps the children, in the creches, to have meals per day. And with lockdown, you can imagine how difficult it was. Normally, yearly, they would go maybe and paint or do, other activities that are making sure that they make a positive change in the community of Hammanskraal in South Africa. And interesting enough, Hammanskraal in South Africa is where I grew up. And I became involved with that organization because they're not only touching, different lives in bigger spaces, but they're touching one life at a time. And I think that as women, we need to touch one life at a time. And I'm saying this, I'm going back to your question in terms of, the looting. I think that to judge other people is a difficult position to place us in, but also to damage other people's, properties in terms of solving our own problems. That also is not a solution. So as a community, we need to come together and see how we can solve African challenges or our home challenges in a way that we know how, or in a way that is better, without making it dangerous for ourselves. Because in places whereby um there is, you know um there's things that are happening, like looting. I mean, there are people that have, gone to jail for that. There are people who lost their lives. And I'm thinking that in terms of the solutions that we don't want any lives to be lost. And coming to think that, our COVID is already doing that, in a very, very, painful way. So we cannot solve our problems in terms of, causing further pain to our communities. Because, also, if we are looting in somebody else's store, somebody who's actually trying to make ends meet for their families. And that is a painful thing, to do. So as women also, and as communities, we need to, sit and think. I mean, I believe in self-leadership, Joshua. And I think that, the better way is to think within ourselves, to say, are we doing what is right? And are we doing something that we are able to actually live our lives, or sleep at night and say, for today, I've done well. But let us not cause
Hmm,
pain to each other.
hmm, hmm.
Let us rather encourage each other. Let
Well,
us rather live in a peaceful way.
well, I like that, and I'm also have somebody in the house as well, Elsa Ramapudi. Thank you very much. I'm getting your comments there. Thank you, Elsa. God bless you. Let's quickly look at something, Rebecca. Let's quickly look at the issue. I don't want us to dwell so long in the issue that have happened, but I just want to engage you in terms of your personal experience as a woman when you are growing up. Now let's put it side by side. When you are growing up as a woman in the community, what is the feeling like compared to the now that we have in a community whereby the female child is not safe? The female child is living under a threat of maybe a boy or a man that is, rapists and stuff like that. What can you say about this? If you look at the your own time, what are the trick and what are the things that you do in your own time to make sure that the problem like this eradicate in your community? And what do we need to do in times such as this in our community to make sure that we get rid of this kind of habit in our community?
Joshua, it pains me that, nowadays, gender-based violence is not only something that we talk about, but it's something that we experience as women. And we experience that violence in our homes. That is a painful thing. That is a painful thing. To your question, growing up, I grew up in Hammanskraal, where I was raised by my mom, and I was raised by my dad, and I was raised by more especially somebody who contributed more, by my granny, because my parents were working, and my grandmother had to take care of me. My grandmother was not only taking care of me, but was taking care of my siblings, my aunt siblings, but also she had other children. She had about 7 children that she was taking care of, but it was not even a formal crèche. So I grew up whereby I knew that, it's important to, take care of other people's, children. And other people's children, I mean, in terms of blood, because, for us in our home, we shared what was there. We shared with, other families as well. So my grandmother, what she taught me is that, caring for other people and being kind, towards other people was the first thing, to do. And I didn't experience the caring and the kindness only from my grandmother and my mom, and my aunt, within the family, but I experienced the care and kindness also, from, the neighbors, from the community as well. I mean, I'm thinking of my teachers as well, the contribution that they've made to make sure that I'm the person that I am, who I am, today. And what is different now in terms of how I'm raising my children is that I don't have, that kind of community whereby I can say that, I can leave my child, with the neighbors. And yes, maybe it can be, a matter of trust, but I know that, I can leave my children with some of my friends. But those friends is because I had them for some time, and it's because that I've built the trust, because trust is very important. I mean, I'm just laughing in what you're saying because, my son used to say that, mommy, people are going for, what do you call it? This thing whereby children will go, whether to a family, and they will have an overnight, they'll do an overnight and sleep over.
Sleep
They do
overnight.
sleepovers. Yeah. And I never believed in sleepovers, and I still do not believe in sleepovers. But I think that if you have, people that can support you, people that you really trust, people that have got the same values as you, then you will be able to do sleepover. Yes, I've got people that have got the same values as me, but in terms of sleepover, I have my own opinion about it, and my children do not actually do sleepover. But to what you said, yes, I had a community that was raising me from church to the school, and hence I'm involved also in the Children for God, with the Hatfield Christian Church, whereby our children are touched in different ways, not only about knowing about Christianity, but also learning about how can they lead themselves, how to live, in a right way, and touching them in different ways. I'm also involved in Toastmasters, International, whereby I'm helping the youth to learn about public speaking. But in my own space as well, I am doing public engagement, whereby I'm helping the youth to gain confidence, the youth, to encourage themselves, and for the youth as well, to learn that, peer pressure, yes, is there, but it depends on how you are dealing with your circumstances. So resilience is very important. And if you don't have a vision for your life, somebody will actually give you that vision, or you will live somebody else's vision. So I'm also involved in the youth in terms of that. And I'm also part of the Professional Speakers
Hmm.
Association, whereby I'm still learning about, professional speaking, whereby I'm learning about, building, a community of speakers who are touching, people in a positive way. That's who I am,
Hmm.
Joshua, and
Wow.
the different projects that I
Okay.
have.
Thank you. Oh, there is one question there that you have not really deal with, and you have not responded to it. How can we solve the problem of the raping, abusing, and take advantage of women in our community?
As women, I believe that as women, life, start with us. Yes, the men, also they contribute to the child being here. But as a woman, I carry the child, for 9 months, and I raise, that particular child. So the contribution that I need to make in terms of not me saying things, but me also making sure that I show in terms of action. I make sure that my son understand how to treat a woman, because if I'm raising my son in a specific way, then I'm teaching him how to you treat a woman. But having said so as well, as much as we can teach our children to live in a certain way, our children also, learn certain things outside. But what I can say is that the foundation that we put in our homes are very important, because if you put the correct foundation, and if you make sure that your child is resilient enough, your child learns how to treat another person, your child should start by treating themselves well. So meaning that self-care is very important. I know that previously we used to say, self-care is selfish, but I believe that self-care is selfless, because if you know how to treat yourself, then you will know how to treat another person. So in terms of us as women, in our communities, we need to treat ourselves better and teach our children and even our partners to treat themselves well, so that they can be able to treat other people well. Because in Sotho
Oh,
they say umuntu motho ke motho ka batho ba bang. Am because you are, and that is very important. If you understand that, the meaning of that, then you'll know that, you wouldn't raise a hand to another person. You wouldn't treat, it's not even raising a hand, you wouldn't treat another person in a bad way, because that person, reflect who you are.
okay. Rebecca, before I have people to start calling in as well to put their contribution to this conversation, let me quickly take you through this, which is very, very important. Let's look at the issue of the religion, especially when it comes to taking the female child to the religion center for them to learn about God. Do you think that that's also play a very big role? Number one. Two is that what is your whole recommendation? Because some of the conversation today is going to base on your recommendation on how woman needs to behave. A lady, a young lady, a teenage, how she needs to behave in the community for her to be respected by others. That is number one. Please, I want you to put it down. Then the second thing is how a woman as a mother also needs to portray themselves, because in some community I have opportunity to do some feasibility study to some community whereby we see the magogos, we see the elderly women drinking heavily in the front of the young one. I mean, and all those kind of a thing also creates a bad impression to the mind of the children. You see some mothers also do some funny things in the front of their child, and that makes them also continue from what they learned from their mother. So those are the things that I want you to look at as well. And thirdly is the issue of the women trying to indulge the children in the home. No, it's fine, you can do it, you can do whatever you want to do. After all, you also have a right. The issue of the right when coming to raising the child, those are the recommendations I want you to kindly put in place before we step out of this program, because it's one to talk about the challenges and the problem, but it's one thing to also find a solution to the problem that we discover. So I want you to give us a recommendation on those three things that I mentioned. But before I open the line for others, I just want you to talk a bit about the challenges. Is it a good thing to make sure that we take our children to church or to wherever the religious center we attending? Is it the right thing, or is it something that we have to let the children make their own choice on?
Thank you, Joshua. Speaking about faith and religion, and I think I will just say spiritually. Personally, I'm a Christian, and I'm happy to say that I'm a Christian. And as a Christian, I also know that I am not perfect. In terms of my faith does not allow me to look down on other people's faith. As parents, as women, I believe that we are able to share. We need to be able to share our spirituality, our faith with our children. And as we teach them what we know, or as we teach them what we think is right, we should not do it in a way that it condemns them. Hence, you find our children, going through certain things like depression, because they feel that they are not reaching a certain standard in terms of faith and religion. And as parents or as women, I believe that it's very important for us to encourage our children to have a relationship with God. A relationship with God is not the one that we prescribe. Is the one that that particular individual, whether our children or the community, is able to have. Because my relationship with God, Joshua, cannot be the same relationship that you will have with God. So for me, it's more about the relationship, and it's more about the spirituality, and it's more about not judging other people or not forcing what you believe in to other people. Religion and faith is important because when things are tough and people are asking you, how are you coping? Faith and spirituality, your relationship with God, that's when you are holding on. That's when you actually understand how strong or how bigger your God is. And I know personally that my God is actually bigger. My God is bigger than my problems. Hence, I am able to continue despite my circumstances. The second question that you asked, it was about the society. Women, drinking, women, doing certain things. And my question is, when we are saying women are drinking or women are doing things in a negative way, what are men doing? What is the role of men in the society? Everything else cannot be pointed to women. Do we even understand why those women are drinking? What is driving them to the drinking? Is there a way that we can actually help them? Society has a picture of how a woman is supposed to behave, but society does not have a picture of how a man is supposed to be contributing to a child's life. And I believe that it's both the man and the woman who's supposed to be contributing to our children so that our children can have role models as women and role models as men. And the picture that we might have years back in terms of how a woman is supposed to be like, that picture might not be the right picture today. Because if you're thinking, in the early years, women were not even working. Women were working, in the homes when men were going out there. But today, women are expected to go to the boardroom. Women are expected to go and work, whether you're working in the bedroom or whether in the boardroom, or whether you are, at the corner, selling tomatoes, or whether you are working, in a retail shop, are working long hours. At the end, it's expected of you to come back and take care of the kids and, cook and do, other things. But in my opinion, if we are building this community, men need to come to the party. If we are a community and if we are a family, how are we helping each other? It's not only my children, it's our children. And it's not only our children in terms of the family, it's the community's children. Am I able to ask another person to help me if I'm working from 8 to 10 in the evening? That is the community that we need to be looking at. That is the community that we are supposed to be striving towards. Because yes, God created each one of us for a purpose. Not only women, each one of us, whether we are male or female, for a purpose. And we cannot do that without love. So for me, I personally feel that, as a community, we need to be helping women to be better versions of themselves, but we also need to help men to be better version of themselves, because for us to create an effective and a better community, we need each other. We need each other. And in terms of the question that you ask about rise, we all have rights, yes, Joshua, and in different countries, in African countries, I know that we have different, we have different constitutions as well. And I will speak, to South Africa more, whereby, like for instance, an example in terms of education, like, teachers now cannot even put a hand, on the children because, because of rights. But, thinking about it, previously that used to happen when I was growing up. And somehow that used to, to put fear in my, in me as a person. And going to school used to be sometimes a fearful thing, thinking that, what will happen if I make mistake? But we need to live in a way that even if we do have rights, we don't teach our children that, failure is the end of things, because, failure does not happen, success does not happen without failure. We need to teach our children to
Hmm.
fail forward, to bounce back. That even if you do have rights, Joshua, you have rights, but what are those rights? If you are exercising your right, are you exercising your right in a way that you are making another person suffer? Then you're not exercising that right, Joshua. Because exercising your
Hmm.
right should be in a way that you are respecting yourself, that you are respecting others, and you are also taking responsibility of your actions. I put my I normally, as we spoke about faith, I put my future in God's hands, but I know that also God wants me to take action. And having said that, I do have rights, but I also make sure that I don't impose on other people. And I also make sure that my rights are not the rights that are making sure that, I look down upon other people. As a community, if I am feeling privileged, how am I helping a community that I feel that is underprivileged without looking down on them? And also for me,
Hmm.
it's not only about giving material things, but it's also about building relationship. It's not about, only giving grants, but it's about making sure that we equip and empower our communities to have pride, to have dignity, and to do things for themselves. As an African person, if you give me,
Hmm.
people used to say, I remember growing up, sometimes if, people give you things, we'll say that, they are hand down things. We don't see it in that way that, those are hands down things. We are giving things because we want to help, but we are giving things so that we give you a head start as a person so that you can actually continue. And as a community as well, if we are engaged in a positive way and truthfully, if we are empowered to do right things, for ourselves, and if we have empathy towards one another, then we will build a successful community. There's so many projects that we can work on, Joshua. And, people can look at me, can look up on me on the social media. I am Rebecca Sibiya. I know I am not very active in terms of Facebook, but LinkedIn, I am, active, I can put it that way. But also my email is Rebecca at eripples .co.za. Then we can talk about some project that we have in terms of the youth. So for me, it's in terms of the youth and in terms of corporates as well, because we need to be building communities, and it starts with us. We cannot want other people to do things for us. Yes, we get scholarships, yes, we get funding from European countries and all that, but as Africans, what are we doing for ourselves? Africa is rich.
Hmm.
Africa
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
wealthy. And as Africans, we can do things for ourselves. I'm thinking, Joshua, as we're speaking now, yes, we spoke about coaching, that I'm in the coaching space. And in the coaching space, we bill per hour. So meaning you pay a certain amount, per hour for me to coach you. But how are we making coaching affordable for an African child? Because we want a better
Hmm.
community.
Wow, wow. Rebecca, I really, really appreciate you. I just want to appreciate everyone that is joining us, no matter where you are. I want to say thank you to you. You are part of this conversation. Julius Olagure joining us from Lagos. Thank you so much. I see your comment there. A lot of people are joining us from other parts of the world. I want to appreciate every one of you. And those of you that will be watching this program later as well, I appreciate every one of you. Let's quickly hear what we're saying out there. Let's quickly for people also to contribute to this conversation. Esther Ramapudi is with us here in Victoria, joining us. Esther, good morning to you, and how are you this morning?
I am very blessed, thanks. And how are you, Joshua? And a happy Monday to all of you out there. And good morning, Rebecca. Good morning.
Hey,
Thank
hey,
you very
Elsa.
much, Elsa. Thank you, and we really appreciate you on joining us this morning. We are discussing about building a good community or a society. What is the role of the women in do that? I narrow it to women because it's woman month. I understand the fact that is in the both way. To build a community, the man have a role, a very big role in this to play, and also the woman have the role. But narrow it to women because we are celebrating Women Month, and we want to know what the role of the woman is in the community. So most of the conversation today will central. We will narrow it to the women to see their impact in the community and what women needs to do to make sure that we have a good community. And in times coming, in the next time, probably we'll be talking about the both side or bringing the men also onto the spotlight to talk about that. But this morning we are talking about the role of the woman, and I have a beautiful and an intelligent woman with me in the studio. Rebecca Sibiya is with us that we're having the conversation. Before we step out as well, we are going to celebrate her as well because she's one of the women. Yesterday I listened to some conversation about the woman in academic, and she's one of the women in academic that deserve to be celebrated as well. That she have achieved a lot, and she's also a role model in our community. Esther, let me quickly allow you to put your own contribution to the conversation before we step out.
Wow, thank you so much, Joshua, for the opportunity that you've just granted me. Hello, everyone out there. I am Elsa Rapudi. And responding to what you have just asked, Joshua, a role of a woman is very complex. It starts with the way you show yourself there in the community. And this reminded me of what you have just mentioned about a woman individual in the society, a woman in her family behaving just otherwise in front of her children. This is very important to become a role model, and as we all know that charity begins from home. My behavior in my family has to be the one that satisfies every. My children will mimic what I do starting from home. And again, in the community, you have to be involved knowing your community members. When you hear that somebody is sick, go out. Don't say that I don't want to be involved. It doesn't affect me. Start to be considerate. Take care of all your neighbors. And even if you hear that there is a noise, an unusual noise going around in your neighborhood, be curious. Go out there. Go to them, as if you asking for sugar or egg or something. Just make them aware that what is affecting you, it affects me as a woman. We have to be taking care of each other. And now with this time of pandemic loneliness, I'll call epidemic loneliness. People are dying because of loneliness. Most people are being affected by the COVID-19, being your neighbor, not knowing what is happening, and all of a sudden you hear that there is a funeral or they are buried. So we have a lot to do, and it's so simple. Even if you don't go to them, a mere phone call, hello, how are you? How do you do? It reminds me last month about what happened to me, I was thinking of a friend and I immediately took a phone to call her. And when I called, the phone was answered by an anonymous somebody. Then when I asked, where is the person? She kept quiet. And I said, hello, are you still there? She said, yes, I'm here. Didn't you hear? I said, didn't I? She said, your friend succumbed to COVID yesterday. I felt so bad. I felt so bad because many times I've been thinking about her because, you know, it's someone that I am used to. She's my friend, she's my family friend. But always when I thought about her, you find that there'll be something disrupted. Maybe another phone call, or I'll be in another webinar and so forth. So let us learn from our mistakes and let us forgive ourselves and start from a clean page to move forward. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you very much. Wow, that is another very beautiful contribution there. To all the women all over the world, especially in South Africa, I want to say to you that we celebrate you and we appreciate you. We appreciate your role. Years back, some women stood their ground. About 20,000 women moved to, go to the Union Business of South Africa to demand for the government to recognize women, and the government that, okay, the law you are passing into us is not something that we want to be against, but we don't want us to be under circumstances that we will not free or we will not our freedom our life. And today we are still appreciating those women for the great role they take. And this morning as well, I want to put upon myself to appreciate Elsa Ramapudi and Rebecca Sibiya, most especially the women in academic. Ramapudi, you are doing a great job. You are also a motivational speaker that is doing great to make sure that the community is at peace, and also you are doing so well to make sure that our children have a good information. And the same thing, Rebecca as well. Rebecca is one of the people that I used to say that we have a good tomorrow because we have these women in the space. So I want to appreciate all men, and I want to appreciate two of you that you are in the house now. That's Thank you very much for the great job that you are doing in our community, and thank you for being a role model to let the younger one learn from you. The children coming behind, we know that they will learn so much from you, most especially in the area of education. I want to say thank you to those two of you for the great work you are doing in our community. Elsa Ramapodi, let me allow you to continue joining us on the Facebook as we are about to round up this section. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning. I really appreciate it. That perfect gift or solution. I like one thing about you is the mind that you have towards what you are doing. Keep doing what you are doing. Keep making the community a safer place for female children. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Rebecca, before we step out of this conversation this morning, our time is fast spent. And before we go out of this program this morning, quickly, I just want you to round up by quickly looking at the what we have discussed so far and give a recommendation. Advise the children, the female child, advise the men in the community, and also advise the women in the community. Then we call it a day.
Okay, in terms of everybody, I want to say that remember, you are unique. In terms of everybody, I want to say, remember, you are unique. You are enough the way you are. You are a working progress, and you need to arise and shine. In terms of the women and the men in the community, I want to say strength, strength, and strength. You need to be strong. Gone are the days whereby we used to say, multi-skilling is, something that we need to do as women. Yes, we are dynamic. Yes, we are diverse. Yes, we are complex. But also, as much as we are strong, we need to take care of ourselves, because if we take care of ourselves, then we will be able to take other people. The last thing is collaboration. Collaboration is important. You cannot do it alone. We need each other as men, as women, as children, to make our communities to be better communities, to make Africa a better Africa, because I love Africa. So remember, you are enough, you are unique, you are strong. Arise and shine. Thank you, Joshua.
Hmm. I have a question. I have a question in the house from Julius Olagroye. It says, please, how can your movement help the entertainment industry in Africa? I know you are in the space whereby you are into motivational speaker. Helping people to become independent. Good leadership and everything. How can your organization help the entertainment in Africa?
My organization is called the Extraordinary Ripples, and the reason why it's Extraordinary Ripples is because it's creating the ripple effect, one ripple at a time. So if you have a project in the if you have a project in the community that you are struggling with, we partner with you to give you a boost, and you still continue with the project. Because remember, as an organization as well, we cannot be in different spaces, but we can have an impact in different spaces. So the more we focus on leadership, which is self-leadership, we focus on goal setting, we focus on confidence and public engagement. So if those are the things that you are interested in, yes, you can contact me at Rebecca at eripples.co.za or Facebook or LinkedIn. Then I would be able to engage with you in terms of how we can take project further. But in terms of the project that I'm doing, yes, public engagement, public speaking is those that I am actually running with. And I've got different communities as well, within the organizations that I'm meeting, at certain times, to ensure that they are taking the challenges to another level, because different people have got different challenges, and there are different solutions. So if you have circle of, we call them circle of trust, if you've got a circle of trust, whether it's even an SME, we've got, it's 10 people SME, whereby you are helping each other to build the businesses, then you can definitely contact me. So that's how the organization is helping. The organization is helping to
Okay.
create a
Oh,
ripple, or it's supporting you to make sure that your organization is better, or you are creating a better community. Thank you, Joshua.
wow, thank you very much. This is a continental and a global program that is coming to you from the African Portal Radio TV International. It's a woman month, and we'll put the great woman of our time, the role model, Rebecca Sibiya, on the spotlight. She's already dished out how you can reach out to her. Please start contacting us for everything you want to know about our organization and about anything that you want to know about the leadership. She's a very, very good woman in that area, because we need to have an environment whereby the leaders also live by example. So thank you very much, those of you that you are joining us for this time. I really, really appreciate it, as our time is running so fast, and it's a morning time here in Pretoria, South Africa. It's 4 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's just 4 minutes after 8 o'clock in Nigeria, and in other parts of Africa. We say thank you very much for joining us for this broadcast this morning. God bless every one of you, and have a beautiful week ahead of you. We start the week with women, and anything you start with women, that you are starting with peace, and that means this week is going to be the best week of your life. That means this week you are going to make a good progress in all you lay your hands to do. Women are the spice of life, and they are the reason why we can smile and we can be happy. So let's respect women. Let's use everything that we have to defend them. And let's make sure that we don't molest them or look down on them. Women are treasured, and let's take good care of them. God bless everyone joining us. Thank you very much, Julius Alagore. I hope you get something that you can also engage with Rebecca Sibiya further. So thank you very much, everyone that have joined the program. I will be able to take another call again because the time is already out of our way. So thank you so much. The main thing is that please respect women, take care of women, and make sure that you don't molest them. That is very important. And to the women out there, respect yourself as well. Don't expose yourself to danger, and don't sell yourself cheap. Don't, because of the problem you are going through, don't put your back down for everyone. You are so important. You are so special. God created you in a very unique way, even though you're taken out of men, but you are unique and you are special. So respect yourself, treat yourself well. The way you present yourself determine how people treat you. So present yourself well. Don't present yourself so cheap for people to just throw you around. God bless everyone. Happy Women's Month to all the women all over the world and in South Africa. And thanks to all the women that marched to the union buildings years back. Oh, we celebrate every one of you, and we say thank you for taking that bold step. We don't take it for granted in times such as this, even though some have passed on, some are still alive, but we celebrate every one of you, and we say thank you for taking that step. And to Rebecca Sibiya, thank you very much once again. I really appreciate you. And when I say God bless you, may the Lord bless the work of your hands. You will succeed in all you lay your hands upon, and we will always have you on the African Portal Radio. This is home for you. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your day. To everyone,
Thank
this
you.
will be the end to the broadcast. You want to say something, Rebecca, before I let you go?
I want to say thank you for this platform. And yes, remember, your communities need you. Thank you, Joshua.
Wow, remember, your community needs you. Thank you very, very much for that. Don't rate yourself low. You are great. There is power in you, says by Elsa Ramapudi. Thank you very, very much. Keep enjoying it. Keep shining. Keep smiling. Rebecca, before I let you go, let's enjoy this music together. It's a lovely song for all the women. You are representing women now. So let's enjoy this
Thank you.
together as we are stepping out of this place. God bless you. Everyone,
Thank
to
you.
all the ladies, enjoy this. We're gonna get it Every day is a woman's day. Every day is a woman's day. And we will always love you. Always. Always. Every day is a woman's
Yes.
day. And we appreciate you. Every day is a woman's day. And we always love you. Always. Step on to dancing, take us to the bridge.
Every day is a woman's day. We appreciate you. Every day is a woman's day. Every day is a woman's day.